The insiders on the first half of the Knicks and the Bulls. Right now, back to Chicago, where the Bulls lead the Knicks by 5. Marvin Mike.
All right, Bob, just a moment ago, it looked like Doc Rivers injured his neck, although Hannah Storm checked with the Knicks bench, and apparently Doc, at least he says he's all right, and he is moving back onto the court.
Yes, and on Saturday, we mentioned the fact that New York was running into screens, not by design on purpose, but as the coaches will tell you, when good screens are set, sometimes you just wind up in the middle of somebody's body, as happened with Rivers' head that time.
Horace Grant with the shot clock running down, and Horace has had the touch. He's 6 for 7, 12 points. Armstrong applies the pressure on Rivers. The Bulls lead by 7 with 2 minutes, 35 seconds to go in this first half. Starks just threw Smith across the floor to set a pick.
It's heating up a little bit right now physically. They are banging into each other, setting hard screens, and making contact on the screens defensively as they're trying to get over it.
Michael Jordan going to the baseline. Yes. 20 points for Jordan.
Michael Jordan's a little upset right now. A moment ago, there was some real hard contact as he tried to set a screen. He didn't particularly like it.
Pat Riley wants a 20-second timeout call. The Bulls have taken a 9-point lead. It's their biggest lead of the game. Look at Pat Riley. He is upset. In the face of Anthony Mason. This has occurred on several occasions during the course of the regular season. Pat usually holds it within, but when he explodes, the player's well aware of the point being made, and Mason has heard it from Pat several times this year.
As a coach, you've got to get your point across. You try it a number of different ways. Sometimes the message, as you try and do it delicately, doesn't get there, so you try and send it another way. You must realize the importance of this moment, this situation. It's got to be done the way everybody has agreed to do it. You have to be on the same page. That's what Pat Riley's trying to tell him.
Just under 2 minutes remaining in the half, and the Bulls with a 52-43 lead. Here is Rivers. Mason gets it back out. Smith with the open shot. Charles Smith with his second field goal. And the Bulls have a 7-point advantage.
One more reason why Pat Riley was so emphatic. He understands that going into the half, he has to have a team that can believe they still have time to win. He did not want the Bulls to open this thing up to a 12 to 14-point advantage just before halftime.
And Darryl Garrettson with the call against the Knicks. A knee foul called on Patrick Ewing. That's his second.
Let's go back to a few moments ago. I said Michael Jordan was mad because he had set the screen, and Mason, trying to stay with his man Grant, tried to send the message to Michael Jordan. Don't screen me from the backside where I can't see you, or else you're going to receive the blow. That time, Jordan not too happy about landing on the floor.
Scottie Pippen is now 3 of 4 from the line. Here comes Charles Oakley replacing Anthony Mason. And now a change. Patrick Ewing will depart. And Mason remains. Scott Williams back on the floor. Bill Cartwright has not scored. He does have 6 rebounds. Ewing sits down with 12. The high man for the Knicks. John Starks, 7 of 9, including 3 from three-point range. 3 out of 3 for Starks from three-point land. He has 17. And Michael Jordan with 20 points on 7 out of 14. Pressure on the ball. They double up on Starks. Oakley back to help. He just did beat the 10-second violation as Smith was fouled in the process. Scott Williams called for that personal.
I don't know what you can use against Chicago's pressure defense. A guy that just takes the ball and dribbles it right through the middle of them rather than being so concerned about picking it up and making the next pass. Now, it's easy to say. If you don't have somebody that can do that, then you have a problem.
Well, Scott Williams felt he had cleanly deflected it, but he's called for his second foul.
Sometimes you get a little bit too aggressive. If you keep that hand wrapped around the waist and prevent or impede the post player from getting where he's trying to get to, then you're going to get called for a foul.
Charles Smith to the line with Chicago going over the limit. Smith, a 78% free throw shooter. Charles Smith acquired from the Los Angeles Clippers along with Doc Rivers, Bo Kimble, and that deal involving Mark Jackson. Played an important role in the playoffs, coming on strong in the 2 games over Charlotte. Game 1, 17 points, 28 minutes, 12 points in that Knicks victory in Game 2, but got in foul trouble in Game 3 and did not see much action.
You noticed a couple of players whose minutes dropped down in Game 3. Charles Smith was one, Doc Rivers was another. There were some reasons for it. One, it became a blowout, Riley substituted. The other was people had to be out there that could handle the press and cut down the turnovers of New York.
Doc Rivers with that steal. The Bulls have a 7-point lead. Final minute. First half. Shot clock at 6. Smith. Oh, Charles Smith. Now 3 out of 3. He has 8 points, and he's brought the Knicks within 5.
New York has done a very good job of maintaining their cool. Michael Jordan launches another three-pointer and hits it. And I was just saying New York has done a good job of maintaining their cool, getting it right back before the half where it's a manageable number.
Third three-pointer for Jordan. He has 23 points. Mason. And he was pushed. Mason with the drive along the baseline. Foul by Grant.
Michael Jordan, realizing how much time is left on the game clock, figures they can get a 2-for-1, so why not try for the three-pointer, let New York come back and get a shot opportunity, and then give Chicago the last possession of the basketball before the quarter ends.
Michael has gone to his three-point arsenal. We saw that in the NBA Finals last year against Portland as Anthony Mason fires a brick on his first attempt. Greg Anthony is back. Charles Smith will sit down. The Knicks are now 6 of 8 from the line. Good job by Charles Smith. 8 points, 3 out of 3 from the field.
How about this lineup for Chicago? Think they're trying to launch one right before the half to send this crowd into a frenzy? You're talking about Tucker, Paxson, B.J. Armstrong, Pippen, and Jordan. Probably the 5 best three-point shooters that they have.
The Bulls looking to hold for a final possession. They lead by 7. Jordan accelerates, took the shot from Oakley, although he felt it should have been an offensive foul on Jordan. I don't know, Charles might wait 4 hours next time he's at the Michael Jordan restaurant.
Michael figured everybody knew he was just going to run it down to the last 3 or 4 seconds before trying to catch New York sleeping, perhaps while they were trying to adjust their defense for what was coming up. If you're Coach Phil Jackson right now, concerned obviously that Jordan's okay, concerned maybe that he didn't hold the ball a little bit longer before he takes the last shot.
Oakley picking up his second foul. As we have mentioned during the course of our broadcast of the series, Charles Oakley and Michael Jordan are very good friends. That goes back to Oakley's days as a member of the Chicago Bulls. Now Oakley will depart. Smith is back. The Bulls seeking to tie this series at 2. And the Knicks looking to jump in front 3 games to 1 with game number 5 coming up Wednesday night at Madison Square Garden in New York. We'll bring it to you 9 o'clock Eastern time right here on NBC. Pressure by Chicago. Out of 7 seconds in the quarter. Starks with a bullet for Mason. What a play. John Starks and Anthony Mason combining. The Bulls now lead by 7. 2 and 7/10 seconds remaining in the half. And that pass deflected out of bounds by Starks. So Chicago will have it in front court with 2 and 1/10 second to go in the first half. They may adjust the clock.
New York put 4 ball handlers on the floor, figuring that when the pressure was going to come, they wanted to have somebody that could make the play happen. Well, Starks makes it happen by penetrating into the heart of the Chicago defense, and then a great cross-lane pass on a look-away to Mason, who converts. And then on the ensuing inbounds pass, a 3/4 court pass, as Jordan was trying to hold off Starks, they were trying to throw over the top, a lob type of effect, only from 3/4 court. The deflection by Starks. Chicago uses up its 22nd timeout in trying to get a good shot off here with 2.4 seconds remaining.
Yes, they did adjust to 2.4. Bulls gaining 0.3 of a second. On that deflected pass, Pippen will throw it in. Chicago up by 7 with halftime looming. Bob Costas and the Prudential halftime report coming up. Pippen inbounds, gets it to Jordan, who turns and fires. And Jack Neese blowing the whistle. He called the foul. Foul on Greg Anthony. Now that is not a foul that you want to commit. Here's another look at it.
Because of the alignment, Starks takes the first man who pops out. It leaves a smaller Greg Anthony to guard Michael Jordan, who just immediately goes up in his face, knows he's going to get a good look. Then the contact on the arm by Greg Anthony. Jordan realizes what's going on. He goes up. The contact on the arm. Jordan will now go to the free throw line for 2.
Like that, a situation where you want to put some pressure on, but you don't want to make contact or come close enough where the official might think you've made contact. And Anthony called for that foul. 0.6 of a second remaining. Jordan to the free throw line, converting his 26th point. Here's Will Perdue for Scott Williams. The Bulls lead by 8.
Of course, his jumper's going down today. He's not getting as many free throw attempts. 16 for 17 in game number 3.
Anthony sidearms it off the mark. That's the end of the first half here in Chicago, with the Bulls gunning to tie the series at 2. At halftime, they lead the Knicks 61 to 52. Michael Jordan with 27 points. John Starks with 17. Coming up in a moment, Bob Costas and the Prudential halftime report.
It has a 214 horsepower 24-valve V6. It also has more interior room than a Lexus LS 400. Cab forward design gives it a wide track for aggressive handling. It also has dual airbags and computerized traction control. Introducing the Chrysler LHS. The American luxury car is now in the fast lane.
If you can dream it, the Rebel can do it. Now EOS Rebel from Canon has more power to create images, not just snapshots.
Image is everything.
EOS Rebel and Rebel S from Canon. So advanced, it's simple.
If you find the interest rate on your credit card to be rather high, you should know about Smart Rate from the Discover Card. With Smart Rate, the more you choose the Discover Card when making purchases, the lower your rate can be. And the Discover Card still charges no annual fee. Now, doesn't that put everything in a whole new perspective? Smart Rate, currently as low as 14.9%. It pays to Discover, the card that pays you back.
If your business gives up AT&T quality, chasing after big savings from another long-distance company, don't expect to find a pot of gold. Leaving AT&T doesn't make a lot of sense.
We'd like to make 2 points in this Avis commercial. First, when you rent using our preferred service, you don't go wait in line, you don't go through any paperwork, and you don't go to any counter. You just go to your car. With someone there to help, you'll be on your way fast. Think of it as speed with a personal touch, which makes my second point, that the employee owners of Avis really do try harder.
They're coming.
We're lost. We're not lost.
2 guys, a 61 Corvette and 2,200 miles.
Oh, sure, that stung a little bit.
Of attitude.
I hate it when that happens.
Join Join Dan Cortez and James Wilder for Hot Summer Nights on Route 66. Premieres Tuesday, June 8th on NBC.
This is the Prudential Halftime Report, brought to you by the Prudential. Peace of mind. It comes with every piece of the rock.
Halftime of Game 4 in Chicago. The Bulls leading the Knicks 61-52. Jordan with 27 at halftime. He's hit 8 of 15 from the field. Remember, before this game, he was shooting barely over 30% for the series. John Starks has scored 17 for the Knicks, and we'll talk with Peter Vesey, Bill Walton, and Quinn Buckner about the first half in a moment. But first, starting tomorrow night, the conference finals move to prime time. Game 5 in the West is in Phoenix with the Suns and Sonics tied, of course, at 2 games each. We'll have it for you beginning at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. With a report, let's go live to Phoenix and bring in the snapper, Steve Jones. Go ahead, my man.
All right, Bob, the Seattle Supersonics chose to stay and practice in Seattle. They will arrive here in Phoenix a little bit later on, but I'm in the empty America West building where the Phoenix Suns practiced this morning. They looked at game tape, and they were all concerned about how the team played. Charles Barkley, he was very concerned about how his team played as well as himself in the second half.
In the first half, I shot the ball 13 times. In the third quarter, I only got the ball 1 time, and that's happened to me 2 games in this series. So I've got to be more aggressive in going to get the ball, or we got to do a better job of getting me the ball.
Everybody played terrible. We just had a whole bunch of mental lapses on defense, and it wasn't getting back, no effort. It's like everybody just gave up. But tomorrow we want to go out there and play full 48 minutes, intensified and aggressive.
I think the team that wins Game 5 will win the series unless we lose Game 5.
Barkley wants his first championship, Bob. It's going to be a big one here tomorrow. Back to you.
Snap, thanks a lot. And when we come back, we'll continue talking about that series as we hear from the head coach of the Suns, Paul Westphal, and then we'll turn our attentions to the Knicks and the Bulls bringing the insiders in. That's all after a message from Prudential and a word from the NBA.
Peace of mind. It comes with every piece of the rock.
The NBA wants you to stay in school. To succeed, you've got to have pride. The P stands for positive mental attitude.
The only person who can tell you that you can achieve something is you.
Now, the second letter R stands for respect.
You gotta look this person straight in the eye and say, I can get the job done. And they have to believe you.
The I in pride is for intelligent choices.
There's not one person in this room that cannot make it to high school and graduate from high school if that's what you want to do.
D is for dreaming dreams and setting goals.
It's up to you to honor that commitment and do whatever it takes to achieve that goal.
And the last letter, E, stands for effort.
You can have anything you want in this world, but nobody is going to give it to you.
Take pride in your future. Stay in school. It's your best move.
Well, if you were with us on the pregame show, we heard from Dan Marley and Kevin Johnson of the Phoenix Suns on what they felt was insufficient effort in yesterday's 19-point loss in Seattle. A short while ago, I talked to Suns coach Paul Westphal and asked him if he had the same feelings. Here's Paul.
Well, I think players always try. I think that the effort wasn't effective, and I wasn't very happy with it either. That was, I think, our worst game of the year, and we need to make corrections, and I think that we will.
Your worst game of the year, not just the playoffs, the whole year?
Even including exhibition season, Bob.
A pretty bad time for that to happen, right?
That's not the way it's supposed to be. But that's the way it is sometimes, and it's 2-2, and we're going to go on and try to win this series and learn from that game.
You and Charles Barkley are two pretty different types of personalities, and yet he seems to thrive with you as his head coach. How can you describe your relationship with Charles and your ability, I guess, to smile through things that you would certainly never dream of doing?
Well, Charles would thrive under any head coach. That guy is a winner, and he does whatever it takes to win. Now, Charles sometimes does things that you're right, I would probably never do. But it doesn't mean it hadn't crossed my mind sometimes. I think that he's a great competitor, and I understand that nobody wants to win more than he does. If he's doing something that is against what's best for the team winning, he wants to be reminded of that, and I try to do that from time to time. But for the most part, the good so far outweighs the bad in Charles Barkley that we let him have a little rope.
One of the biggest catchwords in sports these days is focus, and there's no doubt that you and your team are focused on the Supersonics. But can you help but catch a glimpse of the Knicks and the Bulls and say to yourself, here's how we'd go against Chicago, here's what we'd do against New York, and think ahead?
We're fighting for our lives here, but if a thought comes in now and then, I might dwell on it for a little while, but for the most part, I'm just thinking about the Sonics.
What are your thoughts as you watch the Knicks and the Bulls about the way this series has gone to this point?
Well, I love it as a basketball fan. I just think that it's great theater. It's fun to watch every game. I look forward to them, and I don't have any thoughts other than just enjoying the battle and hoping it goes 7 and that the final game goes about 9 overtimes.
So they arrive with their tongues dragging in Phoenix, right?
You bet.
All right, as you assess it right now, who has the best chance of getting to Phoenix or hosting Seattle when the finals begin?
The Knicks are playing better, but not good enough. The biggest problem is that Ewing and Oakley, two guys that have to establish their physical presence on the defensive end, are just not getting the job done. Ewing not dominating the defensive boards, not blocking the shots, and forcing the Bulls to play the perimeter game. Horace Grant and the rest of the Bull front line are pushing the Knicks under the basket. They're not getting it done, the Knicks.
And I think part of why the Knicks are having that problem is the Bulls' defense, because when the Bulls' defense gets out and pressures, it forces both Patrick and Oakley to have to be more active to come get the ball. So they're not able to get back and be as active on the offensive glass and do as much as they'd like to do defensively. And obviously the Bulls have done some things pretty well because they have 61 points. When they score 100 points, they think they got a good chance to win the game.
And you felt Patrick certainly was not himself in the first half.
He just didn't look like he was into the game. I think that's why why Pat Riley took him out. He was about a step slow on every play, so they want to get him focused. They've got to have him play well if they got a shot.
Riley didn't go to his bench much, only used 7 guys.
That's right. I see we see the breaking down of the Knick backcourt here. Riley went with 7 guys, no Rolando Blackman. Obviously, he's got the bad back. He can't take the pressure defense. Doc Rivers, he's got about 4 body parts that are actually working right now. Then you've got Greg Anthony, who had 0 for 3 from three-point range and 3 fouls in 8 minutes. I think the Knicks would be better off if this guy got suspended for the rest of the playoffs. And then you got Starks, who's actually their most consistent, most stable player. Bob, what does that say?
Well, that is a frightening concept if Starks is your most stable guy. He had 17 points, though, in the first half, 5 turnovers, too. Jordan, if you're just joining us, with 27. We send things back to Chicago for the second half. The Bulls leading it by 9. We rejoin Marv and Mike right after these messages from your local station.
This has been the Prudential Halftime Report, brought to you by the Prudential. Peace of mind. It comes with every piece of the rock.
A beautiful thief forced into an unholy alliance.
What do you know about diamonds?
I don't come easy or cheap.
Trapped in a double life of danger and deceit.
She needs somebody she thinks she can trust.
In a town like this, she can only trust herself.
You won't have a problem if you do what I say.
No!
The thrilling climax will leave you breathless.
You didn't think I was just going to let you walk away, did you?
It takes a thief to know a thief. South Beach, the NBC world premiere, Sunday.
Back in Chicago, Marv Albert with the czar of the telestrator, Mike Fratello. The Bulls with a 61-52 lead at halftime. Michael Jordan, the story in the first half for Chicago, 27 points. John Starks with 17. And a little incident on the Knicks sideline. Looked like Pat Riley was very upset. We don't know why, but was very upset with Anthony Mason.
Well, it was either talking about how they were trying to attack the pressure defense of the Chicago Bulls, people not getting in their right spots, not doing the assignments that they are supposed to be doing, and sometimes you have to send the message a little bit more strongly than other times to get it across to the player.
Yes, an explosive message sent by Pat Riley, who toward the end of the season, there was a game against Miami in Miami where Pat was also upset with Mason and he benched him. He would not say why he was upset with Anthony Mason, who went to the end of the bench and received further instructions from his coach.
Well, it's one of the problems that you have in dealing with the NBA, that it's open to everyone to see. Pat Riley does it better than anybody, tries to keep things in-house just within the team, but when you're out in the middle of the arena and you have to confront an individual, then it becomes public, and how you deal with it, Pat deals with it as well as anyone.
All right, now for the Chicago point of view, here's Ahmad with Phil Jackson.
All right, thanks, Marv. Coach, it seemed to me that you were containing Starks and Ewing pretty well in the second quarter.
Well, they had to cool off sometime. They carried them the first quarter. They got them going. They went to them early. Starks was hot, and so was Patrick, and they got their points off breaks. They broke us down a little bit, and they broke through our press. We had to restructure our press in the second quarter. They played Starks 24 minutes. They really are after it in this game, and we're going to have to make them pay towards the end of the game, make them tire out.
All right, thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck to you in the second half. All right, back to you, Marv.
And here are today's Miller Genuine Draft halftime statistics. The Chicago Bulls, 21 of 43 for 49%. Knicks shooting 21 of 39 for 54%. So the Bulls did it at the foul line. And in the three-point field goal department, the Knicks 3 out of 6 with John Starks hitting the threes, and Chicago 4 out of 5. Michael Jordan hit 3 from downtown. We'll be right back.
It wasn't normal to make a luxury car so different looking. But that's how we build the Mazda 929. Because we just thought having something exceptional might appeal to you.
Come on, let me show you where it's at. Hold me right, I like it like that.
Something this good shouldn't be kept all bottled up. For great taste that's less filling, Miller Lite. It's everything you want a beer to be.
No matter how tough you think you are, one opponent can bring you to tears. Sunscreen in your eyes. Fortunately, there's Coppertone Sport. Ultra sweatproof. Won't run in your eyes to sting you. Protects all day. Coppertone Sport. For those who don't take the sun lying down.
It's not normal to take a luxury car engine and suspension and make it a van. But that's how we build the Mazda MPV. Because we just thought a van that began as a car might appeal to you.
Broke construction. Lunchtime already. That's why my stomach is talking to me.
I smell fries.
I'm out, y'all. Wait, James, bring me back a Big Mac extra value meal.
Make that two.
I'm popping for Kiki.
I can't exploit your manhood like that, my brother.
And McDonald's prices exploit me.
No, Chuck, I got it.
Allow me.
Could have been the Mickey D's and back by now, y'all.
To make the most of your money, get a whole lot of the food you love in a McDonald's extra value meal.
My treat. Lunch money.
What you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
Turn to CNBC every night for Steals and Deals, the only cable show looking out for you. Janice Lieberman and a team of consumer experts hunt out the best deals and expose the latest rip-offs. Steals and Deals only on CNBC, cable's money and talk channel.
Talk about fun. We're supposed to talk about fun.
Okie dokie, I'll be right back.
Take 2.
Talk about a spasmo. Can we get somebody else to do his lines?
Take 9.
Let's talk fun.
Okay, June 14th.
NBC.
Daytime television will never be the same.
Celebrities.
I'm ready.
Surprises.
All kinds of good stuff.
We're set for the start of play in the third quarter. Chicago with a 61-52 lead. Michael Jordan 8 for 15, 27 points in the first half. But during this series, Michael Jordan has gotten off well in the first half. He's averaged 19 per game, although he has not shot well, 39%. But he has dipped in the second half, averaging only 9 points per game the first 3 games of the series.
Well, Michael Jordan gets more attention paid to him than any other player in the league when you have 1, 2, and 3 guys coming after you at times, it can wear you down. Plus the number of games and minutes he's played over the last 3 seasons adds up. But if there's a big game guy who you want to have the ball at the end, it's still Michael Jordan.
John Starks called for face guarding Jordan and apparently made contact. The second committed by Starks.
Top of the circle, toughest area to play Michael Jordan because he can go both ways. That time called for what looked to be a hand check rather than the face guard thing at the end.
Now Jordan with the room. Yes. Michael Jordan has 29. Chicago leads by 11. It is their biggest lead of the day. Ewing got the step. Oh, he just beat Cartwright. Was fed beautifully by the entry pass of John Starks. The Bulls 63, the Knicks 54. Armstrong and Jordan at the guards. Pippen, Cartwright, and Grant up front. Jordan working free. Yes. Michael Jordan gives the Bulls an 11-point lead. Make it 31 for Jordan in a bounce back from the 3 of 18 in Game 3 on Saturday. Smith is fouled. Armstrong over to help. Is called for that foul.
You mentioned earlier that Jordan seems to feel it in the first half. Well, he starts out the same way in the second half. He knows that he has the stroke back, so he's going immediately to his rhythm. 1, 2 dribbles, get the legs underneath him again. Right now, 10 for 17 from the floor.
Michael has accounted for nearly 50% of Chicago's offense. Horace Grant with 12 points, Scottie Pippen with 10. The Knicks led by John Starks, 7 of 9 shooting, 17 points at 3 of 3 from three-point range. And Patrick Ewing, 5 of 10 for 12 points.
And as you look at the stat sheet, if there's one particular area that jumps out at you, it's the differential at the foul line in favor of Chicago. They've shot 18 compared to just 9, and they've made 15 compared to just 7. So there's the difference in the game at halftime.
Aggressive defensive work by the Knicks on this sequence. Shot clock at 5. Pippen. He thought he was fouled. Oakley rebounds. Here's Starks pulling up for 3. Smith hustles it down.
And Jordan knew he was going to go up for that one. He ran out at John Starks to get a hand up and challenge on the shot.
Rivers surprised to find the double team. To the drive. Pippen rebound. Nice move by Starks, cutting Jordan's move. Jordan tried to put the ball on the floor to the right. Traveling violation called on Scottie Pippen. Patrick Ewing has missed 4 of his last 5 shots. Started strongly, but has not been a presence.
Well, the one player I think has to assert himself a little more is Doc Rivers. Not only run the show, but he's got to get some points as Chicago comes up with the steal and now gets into transition.
Jordan, Pippen saved that pass, gets it to Armstrong. And it will be Knicks ball.
I was mentioning Doc Rivers, who in the first half played 16 minutes, 1 for 3 for the floor, only 1 turnover. The key guy for keeping New York in its tempo as the pressure from Chicago forces another turnover on the inbound pass. Oakley and Starks talking it out. Settle down. Let me do my job. You do your job. Get back under control. This crowd can tend to take you out of things quickly.
Little intramural squabble, which we have seen from time to time on the part of the Knicks off that inbounds pass, facing the pressure. So the Knicks turn it over. Chicago with another opportunity. 3 minutes gone by in the third. Michael Jordan has come out shooting here in the third quarter. Nice setup. Grant from Pippen. The Bulls by 11.
Realize that it's not Chicago just having a great first half, shooting almost 49% against the league's best defense. They scored 61 points. Remember, they had 62 at halftime in Game 3. New York, as Oakley hits a jumper, shot actually 54%. That's Chicago's offense where they're having a problem.
Jordan changed his mind. Shot clock at 5. Jordan stopped by Ewing. And Dick Pavetta with the whistle. Foul call on Jordan. That is his first.
Jordan got himself pinned in the corner. New York kept coming at him. The big arms of Ewing stretched out there. Jordan trying to reverse it back out to his teammate. Turnover, and then the foul.
And Doc Rivers was having trouble against the trap. And a foul called on Armstrong. Doc has been an enormous spark in the playoffs, offensively and defensively. The hero of the clinching Game 4 in Indiana. 21 points at 4 from downtown. Played well against Charlotte. He's hit a number of clutch shots during the season, but has not been able to get going the last couple of games against the Bulls. Charles Smith. Oh, what a move by Smith. The rebound and then connecting on the reverse. Smith has 12. The Bulls now lead by 7, and Phil Jackson wants to talk it over. Timeout taken with 8 minutes remaining in this third quarter.
The world premiere of South Beach, NBC Sunday.
This is hydroplaning in less than an inch of water, and they're not being pulled by a boat, but by Goodyear AquaTread radials. AquaTread's deep groove design channels water away to keep more tire in contact with the road for outstanding wet traction. This is hydroplaning. This is AquaTreading, the all-season AquaTread only from Goodyear. It comes with a 60,000-mile tread life warranty. Goodyear AquaTread. Try a set. We like to say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
It may not seem entirely practical to put a V6 in a mid-size sedan, but that's how we built the Mazda 626 ES, because we thought looking good in the fast lane might appeal to you.
"120 years ago, when people wanted to send us a letter, all they had to do was write Coors, Golden, Colorado on the envelope. That'll still work today. So if you want to drop us a line about beer or baseball or whatever, it'll get here. Honest."
They said the Roadster was extinct, but we made the Mazda Miata anyway, because some people might agree that driving for the fun of it should never vanish.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Mazda. Mazda, it just feels right. By McDonald's, what you want is what you get at McDonald's today. And by the ITT Hartford Insurance Group.
Welcome back to Chicago Stadium, where Chicago native Doc Rivers has just 2 points. Now, back when he was a high school star at Proviso East, Doc and other high school stars, Mark Aguirre and Isaiah Thomas, used to wait at the gate outside the stadium for Bulls star Bob Love to come in. When he would enter through the gate, they would yell, "Butterbean, Butterbean, get us in the game." Love would sneak him in and sit him up in the rafters. To this day, Rivers still considers a Bull, Bob Love, his childhood idol.
Ryan Hanna, Bob Love. Excellent Chicago teams in the early 70s. With Chet Walker and Norm Van Leer and Jerry Sloan and Tom Bullwinkle. Shot clock is down to 5. Here's Jordan. And the Bulls now lead 69-60. 33 points for Jordan. 7:20 remaining, third quarter. Smith. Here's Starks, that's 2-point range. John Starks with 19.
In that last time out, Ahmad overheard Phil Jackson telling his team, let's put our energies more into the defensive end of the floor and not let New York get back into the game. We're paying a lot of attention to scoring a lot of points.
Bulls now with Cartwright, Grant, Pippen up front, Armstrong, and Jordan in the backcourt. Michael Jordan beating John Starks. 35 for Jordan.
Tremendous patience that time by Scottie Pippen. First option he let go by. Second option he let go by as he tried to get it in. And then with the 5-second count closing in, he threw the lob to Jordan down low.
Jordan got the step. Bill Cartwright felt he was being pushed aside and had some words for Darryl Garrettson. Chicago by 7. Over the years, we have seen Michael Jordan have a number of magical performances. We are moving in that direction. Pass intended for Jordan. Here's Starks for Oakley. Nicely done. And the Knicks are within 5 with just under 6 minutes remaining in this third quarter.
The crowd wants to see one of those surges, which normally is spearheaded by Chicago's defense. The crowd has been relatively quiet during the last couple of minutes.
And then in contrast to the sound of the crowd here on Saturday, Cartwright is fouled. Fouled by Ewing. That's 3 on Ewing.
A few moments ago on the inbound pass, Pippen with the ball, looked at the first option, nothing. Second option, nothing. Then he winds up throwing the lob pass inside to Michael Jordan. Cartwright, no. Jordan, reverse, lob over the top for the score.
And Bill Cartwright to the line. He's 1 of 2 from the foul line. So the Bulls now lead 72-66.
New York will start both guards back close to half court, anticipating that Chicago may go into the press. Then they sprint their guards up to the basketball, trying to create space for them to work in on the inbounds pass. Here goes Rivers on his way up. There's the cross by Starks as they inbound with relatively little pressure.
And Rivers came over the cross with the left-hand dribble. Rivers and Starks in the backcourt. Ewing, Smith, and Oakley up front. That pass picked off by Jordan. And a foul call on Rivers.
Foul takes place in the backcourt, so they will not call a clear path to the basket. Trying to stop the breakaway layup attempt. Doc Rivers takes the foul. Starks was coming off a curl on the baseline. Jordan fights him. Doc Rivers anticipates where he's going to cut in hard. Instead, Starks went out towards the sideline more. You can see Rivers anticipating the curl to the inside, so Doc fouls to stop the fast break.
Chicago with a 7-point lead. And a foul is called. And that is number 4 on Rivers.
Doc Rivers, who had the turnover at one end, does what all coaches want you to do. Go back and make up for it at the defensive end. What he's not happy about is he feels the call is taking away from the aggressiveness of the Knicks. He gets in the passing lane, and you know what? I agree with Doc Rivers on that. He was there. He had stepped up. He had caused the deflection. He was on his way for a score. No need for that foul call. Just let it go.
Mike Anthony getting set to replace Doc Rivers with the Knicks over the foul limit. B.J. Armstrong to the line. He's 1 for 1 from the line. 86% free throw shooter. So Rivers will sit down. 4 on Rivers, 3 apiece on Ewing, Oakley, and Anthony. While the Bulls in good shape. 2 apiece on Cartwright, Armstrong, and Williams. Only 1 field goal, 1 of 3 from the field.
He was 1 for 4 in game number 3. So when Rivers has struggled, so have the Knicks.
Here's the pressure. Hopefully not the man you want handling it, although he got it down for Starks. Offensive foul. Well, the fans here in Chicago have seen John Starks out of control, and his Knicks teammates wanted to be certain that they calm him down immediately. Apparently he's all right. He had has kind of accepted the call.
Well, New York tried to attack the press that last time. They had the right idea in mind, but Starks tried to do it all by himself. They've been rotated back in time, got position.
3 fouls on Starks. Jordan for 3. Yes! Pat Riley wants a timeout. Michael Jordan with 38. The Bulls by 11.
The pitch-ahead pass against the pressure. Starks determined to get to the front of the rim. Pippen is there, both feet down, established position. Starks not real happy with it, almost. Loses it once again. His teammates get him back under control in time. Already they have Rivers in trouble with fouls. They need Starks in the game. Then after foot faking and getting some space, Jordan gets a clean look and again hits a 3.
I am not a role model. I'm not paid to be a role model. I am paid to wreak havoc on the basketball court. Parents should be role models. Just because I dunk a basketball doesn't mean I should raise your kids.
Maybe you never thought of a backup system for an airbag. But that's how we build the Mazda 626. Because we thought a little extra safety might feel good to you.
What could a minute cost if your 800 service goes down? If you're a player on Wall Street, $910,000. But with us, you're always in the game. Introducing the AT&T 800 service Never Miss a Call guarantee. Now if there's a problem, we can reroute your calls in less than a second. Sign up for the Never Miss a Call guarantee. It's the #1 reason AT&T 800 service is always the smartest play. AT&T, the best in the business. Guaranteed.
Action. Adventure. Arnold.
Schwarzenegger.
Gesundheit. Columbia Pictures presents
Hi.
The Big Ticket for '93.
To be or not to be.
Last Action Hero.
Not to be.
Rated PG-13. The fun begins on June 18th.
It isn't normal to get a V6 in a sports coupe this size, but that's how we build the Mazda MX-3 GS. Because we just thought something a little unexpected might appeal to you.
He's everywhere.
Shaq attack. Boom!
See the real Shaquille on NBA Stories coming June 11th.
Well, we mentioned earlier that Michael Jordan may be on his way to one of those magical days here at Chicago Stadium. He's hit 5 of 5 from the field. This third quarter, 11 of his 38 have come in the third. Chicago with a 6-0 run. They've hit their last 4 from the field. Pippen called for the foul. The Bulls now have matched their biggest lead of the game, a margin of 11. The most points ever scored against the Knicks in playoff competition. Sam Jones of the Boston Celtics, March of 67, 51, and Michael Jordan had a 47-point game, May of 89. He has 38 and counting right here.
Yeah, and Scoop Rashad just came out of that last time out and told me that's exactly what Phil Jackson reminded the team of, is that don't rely on Michael's heroics alone. Get back into the half-court offense, run the set so we can get some stuff for other people off of the attention that Michael's drawing.
That is the other side of the picture, as opposed to distributing the ball during his 3 for 18 game on Saturday when he had 11 assists, only 2 assists here today. Good play by Pippen. Oakley is there to put it away. Pippen blocked Ewing. Ball 77, and the Knicks 68. 4 minutes remaining in the third. Grant and Starks gets to it. Starks and Anthony in the backcourt. Ewing, Oakley, and Smith up front. And a foul is called. And Jordan is upset. He claims he was kneed. Jordan picks up his second.
Michael Jordan takes pride in his defense. He feels that time that the leg by Ewing stuck out there prevented him from getting over the top of that screen. He doesn't like the fact that Ewing put the right leg out, in his opinion. Now, in the official's opinion, Ewing's going to shoot 2 free throws. Doesn't matter what Michael thinks.
Ewing 3 out of 4 from the line, a 72% free throw shooter. Well, no talk today of that injured right wrist. Michael Jordan, 13 of 20 from the field for his 38 points. 3:45 remaining in the third. Chicago 77, New York 70. The Bulls hoping to tie the series at 2. Jordan played well by Starks. Jordan for 3. Making 41 for Jordan. Pippen with the steal. Armstrong for 3. The Bulls 80 and the Knicks 70.
If BJ puts that one in, it might have been curtains. With this crowd getting into it, that might have finished them right there.
It will be Chicago ball. Michael Jordan in the third quarter, 6 for 6, 14 points, 14 of his 41. 41 of the Chicago 80 points. Here's Jordan, and he'll go to the line.
One of the keys for Chicago is to get to 100 points. If they get there first, they feel they'll win. If Michael keeps hitting threes, they'll get there quickly.
Oakley called for his 4th. It's not as if John Starks is a guy who struggles defensively. We're talking about a player who is on the second all-defensive team and who plays Jordan very well. Hand checks him, makes it difficult, but Michael has been unstoppable here today.
There must be a reason why Jordan has led the league for 7 straight seasons in scoring. So he has an ability to do remarkable things with the basketball at the offensive end. It doesn't matter who's playing him, how hard you work. Sometimes he gets in one of those zones, and that's where he is this afternoon.
He has 43. The Bulls lead by 12. 2:45 left in the third. Starks. Good recovery by Starks, who was double teamed, and a foul committed by Grant. Second for Grant. Smith to the foul line.
A moment ago, Chicago changing defense came from the backside, trying to force Ewing to turn that way rather than come to the middle of the floor. Catches Ewing by surprise, forces a bad shot.
Charles Smith, 4 out of 4 from the line. 13 points for Smith. The Bulls and the Knicks will meet in Game 5 Wednesday night at Madison Square Garden. We'll be on 9 o'clock Eastern Time right here on NBC. If they go to a Game 6 Friday night back here in Chicago, the Bulls hold on and come up with a victory, there will be a Game 6. The Bulls 82 and the Knicks 72. Starks slapping for the ball, facing the head fake from Jordan. 45 points for Michael Jordan.
Mark, even with Jordan at 45 points, New York still is in very good position to have a shot at winning this basketball game.
And a 3 for John Starks. That's his 4th three-point field goal. So he has 22, and the Bulls lead by 9. Michael Jordan, 7 for 7 from the field in the third quarter. Shot clock at 5. On this sequence, Jordan has not touched the ball. Pippen for 3. Rebounded by Smith. Alley-oop broken up by Grant.
sure. Don't take a gamble.
Armstrong. Mason with the rebound. The Bulls with a 9-point lead. We come up on 1 minute to go in the third. Starks was open. Starks for three.
Michael Jordan puffing hard right now. He needs a blow. We'll see if Phil Jackson gives it to him at the end of this quarter. He's worked hard. He's breathing hard.
And his shot went short. It will be New York ball. So that's the first miss of the quarter for Jordan, who has scored 18 of Chicago's 23 here in the third quarter.
When they're leaning over, tugging on their shorts like that, you can tell that they're fatigued. That's why Jordan's last shot was a line driver. He didn't have the lift, the strength in his legs. He needs a blow right now from Coach Phil Jackson.
Now committed by Pippen. His third. Both teams are over the limit. The most points ever scored in an NBA playoff game, 63 by Michael Jordan. He did it against the Boston Celtics, April 20th, 1986. He also once scored 56. That was against Miami in the playoffs last year. But as you say, despite the exploits of Jordan, who has scored 45, and we still have 29 seconds to go in the third quarter, the Knicks have managed to hang around. They are down by only 8.
Yes, Pat Riley's done an excellent job of calling timeouts, controlling the tempo, shuffling players in and out, and getting the message across that you have to take certain holes and stands along the way, not to let this thing open up as it did back in Game 3. They've done an excellent job of that. They're within striking distance going into the last quarter.
Mason with 11 points. The Knicks are down by 7. Michael Jordan now sitting down. John Paxson, Trent Tucker have checked in. Here's Pippen. Tucker gets to it. And a foul is called. Knicks try to trap Tucker. Foul on Mason, his third. And again, the Bulls to the line.
Almost looked as if Trent Tucker, when he got over in the corner after chasing it down, wanted to call a quick timeout with just 17 and a half, 18 seconds remaining. He knows he's in trouble. Timeout, timeout. Instead, he gets a foul. So he's really happy now. He didn't use a timeout up, and he gets a couple free throw opportunities.
Trent rarely goes to the free throw line. 18 for 22 from the line during the season. There's Scott Williams replacing John Paxson. Phil Jackson in his offensive-defensive shuffle. 17 and 5/10 seconds to go in the third. Tucker spent 9 years with the Knicks, then on to San Antonio briefly and Chicago. He had asked Bulls general manager Jerry Krause for a tryout during minicamp and to sign as a free agent. Well, the Bulls get it back, and they'll now hold for a final shot. 10 seconds left in the quarter. Down to 5. Pippen's pass picked off by Anthony. Starks gets it off. After 3, the Bulls 85, the Knicks 77. Michael Jordan with 45 points through 3 quarters. 18 of the 45 coming here in the third. We'll be back after these messages and a word from your local station.
It isn't normal for a car to use solar power to cool the car.
For a super shootout against Robin Ventura and Frank Thomas, Friday. In the West this summer, good guys wear.
From all of us here at NBC Sports, we hope you're enjoying this Memorial Day around the nation. Marv Albert, Mike Fratello, Ahmad Rashad, Hannah Storm from Chicago Stadium. The usual sellout crowd on hand, better than 17,000, and they have seen a sensational performance by Michael Jordan. The Bulls by 8 as this fourth quarter gets underway. Jordan with 45 points.
the concern that Phil Jackson had for the fact that New York was hanging around. After the pick and roll situation develops, Ewing steps back, takes it to the basket, strong, converts, and the opportunity for three. But the concern of Phil Jackson, Michael Jordan got a very brief rest, then the time in between quarters, and now Jordan is back on the floor again. Normally he may have sat under the 2 minutes to catch more of a blow. But Jackson understands that New York has hung around dangerously here after the first 3 quarters.
And the downside, as we touched on earlier, the fact that the rest of the team not able to get into it, we have not seen the same kind of ball distribution. An upside and a downside when one player is scoring that many points. Jordan again! A three-pointer for Michael Jordan. He's 5 of 6 from downtown. Chicago. Jordan knocked it away. Here's Jordan for 3. Michael with 48 points. And again looking to do it from long range. He's 5 for 7 from 3-point land. Paxson off another Knick turnover. So the first time he sticks it standing still, the next time after one quick dribble, he gets enough room to still elevate and get a shot.
The Sonics and Suns go prime time. Game 5 Tuesday night.
Why do people really like Toyota Paseo? Take this home lie detector test. I like Paseo because A, it's practical, has a driver's side airbag, or B, women dig it. A, it has 100 horsepower performance, or B, women dig it. A, Paseo starts under $11,800, or B, women dig it. Paseo, a very practical car from Toyota.
If you are willing to give up AT&T quality on a business call to Milan, and at a company's rate would save you 16 lira, in your money that's about 1 cent?
Leaving AT&T doesn't make a lot of sense.
A noble warrior advised, the art of protection springs from within. One must stay vigilant against one's unfragrant perspiration, lest one provoke a hostile response. Thus, a Norse ritual is Right Guard Sports Stick. An aromatic array of the freshest scents and maximum protection against disarming wetness. Confirming the wisdom, the best defense is not to offend. Right Guard Sports Stick. Anything less would be uncivilized.
Why use Valvoline Motor Oil? For their race cars and their own cars, Valvoline is the #1 choice of race mechanics from Indy 500 to Daytona 500 to NHRA to Baja to SCCA.
Pressure. The game is up in the air. There's always one person that you try to keep control. When my players see this sign, they know we're running to win. This means we're going down inside to the post. If we need one shot, last shot, they're going to see a one-up. When we need poise, we bring it right down. If you're out there having a couple of drafts with a couple of friends, I got a sign for you right now, right here. Use your head. Think when you drink.
Miller Genuine Draft presents Genuine Moments.
And And this Miller moment takes us back to April the 20th, 1986. We mentioned Michael Jordan scoring 63 points in a playoff game against the Boston Celtics. Most points ever scored in an NBA playoff game. Jordan with 63. He has scored 50 thus far today. In recognition of this moment, Miller Genuine Draft will donate $1,000 to the Thurgood Marshall Scholarship Fund. And Michael Jordan matching the 6 3-point performance. Tucker nearly picked it off. Michael Jordan matching the 6 3-pointers of a year ago in the NBA Finals against Portland. So Jordan has hit 6 of 8 from downtown. The most 3-point field goals in a playoff game. Chuck Person hit for 7 for Indiana and Boston in April of '91. Here's Mason battling inside. Anthony Mason with a strong move. He has 13, and the Bulls now lead 90-81. 2.5 gone by in the fourth quarter. Tucker for 3. And a loose ball foul is called.
Everybody wants to jump on board and be associated with Mike. Well, how about this little rascal right here camping up on top of Michael's head during the last time out? One of the teammates just trying to help Mike out a little bit. Just squashes the idea.
Michael Jordan picking up his 3rd. Jordan called for the foul. They try to double up on Rivers. Another Knick turnover.
There's nobody playing. Charles Smith, take a dribble to the basket, shoot a 15-foot jumper, get a score.
And Ewing gets it back. With 16 turnovers, Chicago now with 11. Smith works his way in. He had a mismatch going. Tucker picked him up on a switch, and Tucker called for his first foul.
And that's what New York is trying to find, the mismatch in their favor. They had Smith camped down low. Grant tried to get over at the last second to help double team, but it came a little bit late.
Smith, 6 for 6 from the line. Now Scott Williams and Scottie Pippen check back in. King and Tucker depart. Charles Smith has 14 points. Patrick Ewing, John Starks, the high man for the Knicks. Starks with 22. Ewing has 20. The Bulls 90 and the Knicks 82. Now Jordan is being guarded by Rivers. Jordan trying to post up, that changed his mind. Good play by Starks.
You see the difference earlier? Jordan had been operating on the outside, the perimeter, to get the jumper or come off the pick and roll. This last time down, they had him down in the low post area as part of the triangle offense.
Shot clock at 7. Shot clock at 2. Williams is fouled by Ewing. And Scott Williams shaken up.
The message was clear. No easy baskets. The patience of Pippen at the end, knowing the clock was running down, still has time to dump it off. Ewing not going to let Williams get the easy score.
That's 4 on Ewing. So 4 apiece on Ewing, Oakley, and Rivers.
During the regular season, Scott Williams, a 71% free throw shooter. In the playoffs, after the first 3 games against the New York Knicks team, Scott Williams just 62 from the foul line.
Bulls 91 and the Knicks 82.
save it, can't decide whether to go after it or let it go. The deflection off his hand.
Scott Williams with the save, and a foul called on Doc Rivers. Number 5 committed by Rivers. It's a non-shooting foul, second team foul committed by the Knicks. Chicago with 4. Bill Cartwright is back. Scott Williams sits down. Here's Jordan. Will it count? No basket. Offensive foul. And that is number 4 committed by Jordan.
Even with the offensive foul, he still concentrates enough to make this shot after it.
7.5 remaining in the game. The Bulls by 9. Here's Rivers. A tip by Mason. Anthony Mason has 15. And the Bulls now lead by 7. He checked to see if Pavetta was not looking. Starks apparently slapped Grant, and that's what set Horace Grant off.
What started it out was when Starks came up with the possession of the ball. As Grant ran by, he stuck out his rear end, trying to bump into Grant on purpose. Grant didn't like the fact that he tried to cut his legs out, so as they ran back down a little bit further, Grant just kind of sent a little message to Starks, who almost retaliated. Play goes by, there's the little message right there that he didn't like what had just happened prior to that. Grant kind of waving him off, saying, don't mess with me. Don't do that. We're not going to buy that this afternoon.
And a timeout call. We'll be back in a moment.
One of these engines was filled with Castrol Syntec, a synthetic oil, the rest with conventional oils. They were then drained and started without oil to prove a point. You see, Syntec has a unique molecular structure that bonds to engine parts. Lab tests show it leaves a layer of protection far stronger than conventional oil. And if Syntec protects this well now, imagine if you leave it in. Castrol Syntec protects in ways other oils can't.
This is your life, and not a bad one at that. You find the things that work for you, and you stick with them. Like your Toyota Extra Cab Deluxe. It has the power and the payload you need. Plus the reputation for dependability, that's a well-known fact. All the signs of a great relationship.
Come in. Cousin Dave, we're here. Say, nice place you got here.
Dave, you remember the twins? Norma Jean, her boyfriend Luke, and this is Zing Chow, our exchange student. What's happening?
I'm starved.
Well, we go to Wendy's. This summer, Wendy's has something for everyone, like Junior Bacon Cheeseburgers and Caesar side salads on the 99-cent super value menu, and a hamburger kids meal for $1.99.
It's time to go.
So soon?
You talked us into it. We're staying.
The NBA on NBC is brought to you by Miller Lite, an official sponsor of the NBA on NBC. By Last Action Hero in theaters June 18th. And by Toyota and their full line of quality cars and trucks. Toyota, I love what you do for me.
How did the whole incident start? When Starks came up with the loose ball rebound and starts to go up, he sticks out his rear end, cutting Grant's legs out from under. Well, Horace doesn't like that, so he sends Starks on his way to the floor. Starks almost retaliates. Grant says, don't come over here and mess around with the big guys. Stay over there in the backcourt with the guards.
And in the process, Michael Jordan picked up his 5th foul. So Jordan with 5, Williams with 4. Darryl Garretson getting the players together to try to settle it down. I don't know about whether they had the ears wide open. Did not appear that they were interested in hearing it, but Darryl did what he had to do to try to calm things down. Michael Jordan sitting down now after picking up his 5th foul. Jordan with 50 points in the game. Anthony Mason is 3 of 5 from the line. Last time Jordan fouled out, November 22nd, 91. In a game at Seattle. And we have much time remaining, 6:58 to go. The Knicks, despite the explosive performance by Jordan, are down by only 6.
You can see the Knicks pressure defense getting up, getting after the entry passes now, more like the defense that they played in games 1 and 2 in Madison Square Garden. They've got the crowd silent right now, which is in their favor.
Shot clock at 2. Armstrong. B.J. Armstrong getting the roll. He has 8 points. The Bulls 93. The Knicks 85. Starks and Rivers at the guards. Oakley, Mason, Ewing up front. Rivers playing with 5 fouls. They double up on Ewing. They double up on Mason. Here's Ewing with 1 on the 24. 24-second violation.
New York tried to initiate their post pass by starting out with a pick and roll. Well, that used up a little bit of time. So by the time they got it down low, and then Ewing gave it up and stepped back outside again, he did not have time to get it off before the 24-second clock had elapsed.
Paxson back for Armstrong. And a 3-second violation called on the ball. Now here's where the downside could hurt Phil Jackson and the Bulls, because they have not received the ball in distribution, and it's been, for the most part, the Michael Jordan offense. Now can the rest of the team come forward?
So the guy who has to create for them is Scottie Pippen. The 2 shooters of Paxson and B.J. Armstrong. Grant needs to help on the offensive boards, but their defense has to tighten up and not give New York any easy scores while Michael is buying time on the bench.
Here's Mason. Well, the Knicks have had their opportunities. Scottie Pippen wanted to run, but the Knicks got back. And Pippen is blocked. Fouled by Mason.
When Pippen secured that last rebound, he almost wanted to slow it up and walk it up, and Phil Jackson started waving him down the floor as if to say, hurry up, keep going. Watch Jackson at the top of the screen. He's waving his hand. Pippen turns and looks at him as if to say, what do you want me to do? Phil wants him to try and get it in transition if they can, rather than let New York's defense dig in.
13 foul on the Knicks. Bulls are over the limit. As we approach 5 minutes remaining in the game. Good recovery on the dribble by Armstrong. Excellent defensive sequence by the Knicks. Shot clock at 7. Pippen for 3. Oh, what a rebound by Oakley. One-handed. Starks. With contact from Paxson. And a foul on Paxson. It's a block. Phil Jackson buying time for Michael Jordan, picking up his 5th, sitting it out right here.
John Paxson tries to get over in time to get the offensive foul. Instead, the block is called. Now, the best thing that happened to New York, put points on the scoreboard while the clock is stopped. Just under 5 minutes remaining, Starks gets a chance to cut this game back to a 6-point deficit.
And the Knicks 18 for 23 from the line. John Starks, a solid foul shooter, 80%. The Bulls lead by 7. It is down to 6. Chicago gunning to tie the series at 2. The Knicks trying to make it a 3-1 lead in the best of 7 with Game 5 in New York on Wednesday night. Here's Armstrong for Cartwright, and he's fouled by Oakley. That's 5 on Charles Oakley.
Well, I mentioned New York's defense is back to what it was in games 1 and 2. They're up denying passes to the wings, passes across the top of the circle, and what happened that last time, because everything was shut out, they had to send a flash post. Cartwright, their big man, coming up into the high post area to relieve the pressure. Then they start running their cuts from there. But they're very aggressive right now, overplaying all passes.
Bill Cartwright had his problems at the foul line in Game 2 in the final minutes.
There's the flash post and the back door attempt. That time, the dump down pass inside at the end. Cartwright goes to the free throw line.
Cartwright is hit 4 out of 5 from the line here today. Bulls 94. The Knicks 87. Phil Jackson will have a decision concerning Michael Jordan very shortly. 4.5 remaining in the fourth quarter. When do you bring him back with the 5 foul? Rivers, wild shot. And back comes Armstrong. Again, the Knicks back on the transition.
Did you want me to answer that question?
Just a theoretical question.
The question was, when do you bring Michael Jordan back? You let the time and score dictate when you need him back on the floor. If you maintain your lead, you can buy a little more time. If they cut into it, you bring the best player on your team back into the game.
Good box out by Ewing on Grant. Bulls by 7. And a timeout is taken by the Knicks with 3:54 remaining in the fourth. We'll be right back.
You guys are going to love this hole. Let's see what you got, Adande. A little left to right.
Oh, ugly shot.
Don't look at it. Trust me, that is where you want to be.
Come on, let me show you where it's at. Oh, yeah. The party has started. Right. You are beautiful.
Gentlemen, what'll it be? Miller Lite. 4?
Get it? 4?
For great taste and a less filling beer, join the club.
So what's the rest of this course look like? I have no idea.
Miller Lite. It's everything you want a beer to be.
So, did you get my memo?
I'm looking for a memo.
At 3 o'clock. What time is the 3 o'clock scheduled for now? Let's just untangle this.
So this is the wrong one. Meeting? What meeting?
If we reschedule at 2:30 for 4.
I don't think you know what you're doing.
4 cars should be coming.
Go in and check. Don't guess, please.
When I hit 100,000 miles, I was driving home from a bat cave where I'd just seen 6 million bats.
I'd say it would be
When I hit 200,000 miles, I was on my way to a 100th birthday party.
actually,
Okay, it happened right where the fence starts on the Lamont Bridge.
I don't remember the specific place I was at.
Where were you when your Toyota truck hit 100, 200, 300,000 miles or more? Tell us about it.
I never started really paying attention to mileage till it reached about 400,000.
Next weekend, join NBC in Paris for exclusive coverage of the French Open Championships. Friday morning, the men's semifinals. Saturday afternoon, the ladies' final. All concluding Sunday morning with a men's final. The French Open, presented by Coca-Cola Classic. Tennis's ultimate challenges are on NBC.
In Game 3, we saw Starks run into Pippen at the top of the circle. Here, coming off the baseline screen. Again, Starks into the screen. Hurts his neck that time. He's on the bench with trainer Mike Saunders right now, working on it.
And Michael Jordan is getting set to make his return. A reminder, tomorrow night, starting at 9 o'clock Eastern time, it'll be game number 5. Seattle and Phoenix are tied at 2 apiece. A convincing victory by Seattle yesterday. Some strong statements made by members of the Phoenix Suns. The upcoming schedule in the East series resuming at Madison Square Garden in New York. Game 5, 9 o'clock Eastern time, right here on NBC. So Jordan is back. He's guarding Starks, who apparently is all right. Oakley off the mark. Rebounded by Pippen. We're down to 3:40 remaining in the game. The Bulls with the ball and a 94-87 lead. A low-scoring fourth quarter. The Knicks have scored 10 points. The Bulls 9 over the first 8 minutes and change here in the fourth. Michael Jordan for 3. And that went way short. Jordan with 50 points. He's hit 6 from three-point range. Ewing, yes. 22 for Ewing. The Bulls now lead by 5. With 3 minutes to go. Down to 8. Jordan checking the clock. Can't find the shot. Played well knows how to force it. And Jack Neese with the call. Ball's deflected out by the Bulls. So the Knicks get it back, down 9 by only 5.
Against the pressure defense of New York, I would think Chicago would try to get something easy. Flash post, backdoor, or cut down the lane to take some of the pressure off. But New York's defense has been outstanding. They go right back into Ewing again to try and get the inside game going.
Big rebound by Oakley, and he drew the foul. So Oakley will go to the line. 12 rebounds for Charles Oakley. Horace Grant called for the foul, his third.
On this rebound, the entire Chicago coaching staff was up. They can sense the urgency right now that New York is coming. They're coming. Their strength, which wears you out, eventually takes its toll on so many teams. If you let them hang around close enough, something bad could happen here at the end for Chicago.
Oakley now 2 of 3 from the line, a 72% free throw shooter. Bulls take a timeout. 2:24 remaining in the fourth quarter.
There's a new businessman in Castle Rock, and for a price, he'll get you anything you want. The devil is open for business, and business is booming. From Stephen King's best-selling book.
How is it going? They killed my wife. Is that wrong? Hey, these things happen.
Needful Things. At theaters this summer.
We'd like to make 2 points in this Avis commercial. First, when you rent using our preferred service, you don't go wait in line. You don't go through any paperwork, and you don't go to any counter. You just go to your car. With someone there to help, you'll be on your way fast. Think of it as speed with a personal touch, which makes my second point, that the employee owners of Avis really do try harder.
If your business gives up AT&T quality, chasing after big savings from another long-distance company, don't expect to find a pot of gold. Leaving AT&T doesn't make a lot of sense.
Since your face can't adjust to your razor, the Schick Tracer adjusts to your face. Tracer's the only razor with blades that bend and flex for a clean, close, comfortable shave. Schick, we're changing the face of shaving.
Yesterday in Seattle, Sean Kemp and the Sonics were super as they dominated the Suns in the second half and cruised to victory. Now with the series tied at 2, the scene shifts back to Phoenix in prime time for the critical Game 5. The NBA Western Conference Finals continue Tuesday night at 9 Eastern on NBC.
Reminder tonight, right here on NBC, don't miss the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and Blossom, and then on Monday night at the movies, Victoria Principal and Paul Sorvino will star in Don't Touch My Daughter. That's all tonight, right here on NBC. 2:24 remaining in the fourth. Michael Jordan in foul trouble has had a low-key fourth quarter. He's missed his last 3 shots. He has 50 points, though. That is only 1 away from the most points ever scored in the playoffs by a Knick opponent. Sam Jones hit for 51 for the Celtics back in March of '67. But the Knicks hanging around despite this performance by Jordan. The Bulls lead 94-89. Charles Oakley at the foul line. He missed his first free throw. 2 of 3 from the line. Chicago by 4. They've led by as many as 11, and they have led most of the way. Armstrong and Jordan in the backcourt. Cartwright, Grant, and Pippen up front. Pippen was pushed. Yes! Counts. A huge basket by Scottie Pippen.
Chicago had set the play up for Jordan in the post. He couldn't get anything going, so he cleared out, opening the side up for Pippen to drive right. Once he heard the whistle, it was just a matter of let me get it up there. Maybe something good will happen. What happened was now a chance to complete a 3-point play.
Anthony Mason called for the foul. 13 for Pippen. Bulls 97, the Knicks 90.
In a sense, you got to feel for New York. They worked so hard to get it back to a 4-point game, and then a Hail Mary shot winds up going in, and now they're back down 7 with just under 2 minutes remaining.
Starks misfired on the 3. Jordan with the rebound.
They're going to spread the floor, run the clock down, let Jordan create from the middle.
Here's Jordan on the fake. Yes! 52 points from Michael Jordan. And the Knicks call for time.
When Phil Jackson opens his arms up out to the side, that means let the main man do his thing. That time, middle of the floor, all by himself. The ball fake gets Rivers in the air. He knows he needs a big basket. The team needs it. He likes it.
Do you want to fly where there are no runways? Do you want to swing where no one has swung before? Or do you want to surf where there is no ocean? And get yourself a Toyota 4Runner, because where you're headed, you don't want to be driving anything less.
The best defense is not to offend. Thus, introducing the new Right Guard Sports Stick. Now with a time-release formula for longer-lasting protection against hostile odor all day. For protection that endures.
Come on, let me show you where it's at. Hold me line, I like it like that.
Something this good shouldn't be kept all bottled up. For great taste that's less filling, Miller Lite. It's everything you want a beer to be.
They're coming.
We're lost. We're not lost.
Two guys, a 61 Corvette and 2,200 miles.
Oh, sure, that stung a little bit.
Of attitude.
I hate it when that happens.
Join Dan Cortez and James Wilder for Hot Summer Nights on Route 66. Premieres Tuesday, June 8th on NBC.
With the clock running down, watch Michael Jordan's lips. He just sends a little message to Doc Rivers like, let's go, here we come. Just to let him know it's time to get down and try and stop him. No way. His show.
Well, Michael Jordan's vow of silence has not affected his talking on the court. We've seen it from time to time, and Michael with 52 has scored the most points in a playoff game against the Knicks. Sam Jones, master of the bank shot, had a 51-point game in 67 as a member of the Boston Celtics. Jordan with 47 and 89 against the Knicks. And Michael Jordan has done it by hitting 18 of 30 from the field, 6 from three-point land, as he turns from the 3 of 18. Rolando Blackman, who has not played at all today, has just checked in. The Knicks, incidentally, a 4 of 11 from three-point range. They're trailing by 9. Blackman guarded by Pippen. Minute and a half to go in the game. Here's Rivers for 3. Rebound Jordan. And Blackman gives the foul.
Ahmad had just come out of the Chicago timeout and mentioned that Phil Jackson reminded the team if the ball goes into Ewing, pay special attention to Starks and Rivers. Those are their two main threats from the three-point line. That's the way that they could cut back into the lead most quickly. And in fact, Rivers does try and get up a three-pointer. Jordan not only scoring but rebounding as well will now get a chance to put 2 more points up on the scoreboard.
Chanting MVP for Michael Jordan. That's his first free throw miss. He was 16 of 17 from the line in Game 3, 10 of 11 here this afternoon. Michael holding the record for most points scored in a playoff game, 63, but he is now among the leaders with this 52-point performance in a moment.
Why do people really like Toyota Paseo?
Take this home lie detector test. I like Paseo because A, it's practical, has a driver's side airbag, or B, women dig it. A, it has 100 horsepower performance, or B, women dig it. A, Paseo starts under $11,800, or B, women dig it. Paseo, a very practical car from Toyota.
Well, from here on in, NBC's coverage of NBA playoff action will all be prime time. We'll be with you Game 5, the Knicks and the Chicago Bulls at Madison Square Garden. That'll be 9 o'clock Eastern time on Wednesday. And it will be Phoenix and Seattle. That'll be tomorrow night at 9 o'clock Eastern time in game number 5. That series tied at 2. Some very strong statements by various members of the Phoenix Suns following that loss yesterday to Seattle.
For some reason, you get the feeling that both series may wind up using all 7 games before it's finally decided.
A couple of Phoenix players said that they quit. Danny Ainge in particular very adamant about the fact that several members of Phoenix quit in the game yesterday against the Sonics.
When you get to this point, and I'm sure it's a message that Pat Riley sent his team after Game 3 here, the fact that you can't get to this point in the season, work this hard, and then not feel that you're at least competitive down the stretch. A much different performance here this afternoon by New York as they responded to the challenge. They're right in the basketball game in the closing minutes.
However, the Knicks have hit only 1 of their last 8 from the field. They're down by 9, a minute and 20 remaining in the fourth quarter. The Bulls looking to send the series back to New York, tied at 2. Starks was looking for the 3, could not find it. Ewing has to settle for 2, and the Bulls now lead 99-92. Here's pressure by the Knicks. Cartwright gets it inbounds. And Armstrong was pushed by Hubert Davis, making his first appearance.
24, Hubert Davis, his first penalty.
B.J. Armstrong, 2 of 3 from the line. An excellent free throw shooter, 86% for the season. I mentioned the primetime coverage. Well, we'll be on the air every night starting 9 o'clock Eastern time the rest of this week with an NBA playoff game. And that will start tomorrow night with Phoenix and Seattle, continuing Wednesday night with the Knicks and the Chicago Bulls. 22nd timeout is taken, so the Knicks with 1 timeout left, Chicago with 2 and a 20.
And what Pat Riley has to do is send the message across right now how they're going to play out the last 69 seconds of this game, having only 1 timeout. If they can get it down close enough, he obviously would like to save it. So he'll give instructions as to what they want to push into in transition, what they want to go into defensively if they score. And just, by the way, remind them who might be the worst free throw shooters for the Chicago Bulls if they get that opportunity to foul immediately.
The Bulls 25 for 34 at the free throw line today. Rolando Blackman with a brief appearance here in the final minutes along with the rookie Hubert Davis. The story this afternoon, Michael Jordan. 52 points. The Bulls now lead 101-92. Light pressure by Chicago. Starks again stopped on that 3-point attempt. Blackman for 3. Way off. And a foul call with 57 seconds to go. Davis picks it up.
To try and emphasize how quickly Chicago's defense recovers and gets the shooters. You've noticed a lot of fumbles, balls that have dropped out of the hands of the New York players when they get ready to tee it up and shoot it. That's because they're anticipating Chicago's defensive players rotating at them, and you try and rush it to get the shot up, and as a result, you either miss or, as we've seen a couple times, you don't even get a chance to get it off because of the fumbled balls.
Bulls now lead by 10. 54 points for Jordan. And the Knicks Knicks take a timeout. So that is their final timeout.
Once again, looking like the first team to 100 will be the winner with just under a minute remaining. Chicago up 11.
Peace of mind. It comes with every piece of the rock.
57 and 9/10 seconds remaining in this fourth quarter, and Chicago with a 103-92 lead, so that matches their biggest lead of the game. The Knicks do not have any timeouts remaining. This series heading back to the Garden in New York on Wednesday. And that is an arena that has seen the Knicks win 27 straight at home. Unless there is a miraculous turnaround, this series will shift back tied at 2 apiece.
Then the question marks become, can Chicago bring its pressure defense and have the same effect against New York on a visiting court as it does here in their home building, the stadium, with the Chicago crowd behind it? Can New York get back to playing the type of defense that holds Chicago under 100 points a game, which, you know, makes them most effective that way? Those questions to be answered.
Yes. Little tease served up by the Czar. Not that this series needs it. Blackman will throw in. Starks has not been allowed to shoot the three-pointer. That time he did, but he fired it from way out. And a loose ball foul has been called. Both teams are over the limit. It's called on Ewing, his 5th. Knicks are just trying to stop the clock here in desperation. They're down by 11, 103-92. Well, tonight, Fresh Prince followed by Blossom. And Monday night at the movies, Don't Touch My Daughter. That's coming up tonight here on NBC. E.J. Armstrong is 4 out of 5 from the foul line. Anthony Mason and Charles Smith return. The Knicks have missed their last 6 from three-point range, 4 of 14 overall. They're just firing them up in an effort to try to cut into that lead. High-point men for the Knicks. Ewing with 24. Starks with 24. 16 for Mason. Michael Jordan with 54 points for the Chicago Bulls, who now lead by 13. Here's Blackman for 3. So Rolando Blackman hits the three-pointer, and the Bulls now lead 105-95.
So both players that we mentioned back in the open that had to step up for New York, Ewing and Starks, both with 24 points, have done it. They need a little support, some help from a few other players out on the floor.
George just playing the clock. It's time running down. Shot clock at 5. So the Knicks and the Bulls will resume at the Garden on Wednesday. The series tied at 2. Basket won't count. Will be Nick Ball. 18 seconds remaining. The Knicks playing so well in the first 2 games to take the 2-0 lead. Chicago facing a desperation situation for the first time this season. Won in Game 3 on Saturday. And it'll be back to New York, where, as we mentioned, the Knicks have won 27 straight at home. A standing ovation for the Chicago Bulls, who have managed to bounce back with the 2 victories at home. And they defeat the New York Knicks 105-95. 54 points for Michael Jordan. 18 of 30 from the field. He hit 6 of 9 from three-point range. 6 field goals from downtown, which ties the mark against Portland. Last year, the NBA playoff record is 7 by Chuck Person. Jordan also 12 out of 14 from the foul line, 6 rebounds, only 2 assists in contrast to the 11 that he had in Game 3. But I think Phil Jackson will be delighted with what took place.
Some days you ride your guy when he's got to go, and today happened to be one of those days. Everybody else just fills in around him then.
Final Chicago 105 and the New York Knicks 95. Let's go to Ahmad Rashad.
All right, thanks, Marv. Well, as we know, Michael Jordan is not speaking to the press. He said he was going to let his play speak for himself, and his play pretty much did that today. BJ, as well as you guys played, the New York Knicks kept hanging in there.
They did. They made some adjustments. They came out. They worked very hard. They played us right to the end. It was a good, hard-fought game, but I'm just glad we prevailed in the end.
How do you attribute your turnaround coming back here at home?
Well, it's the home crowd. It's the energy. It's the excitement. And it's just being familiar with the surroundings. So, playing at home is a definite advantage for the home team, and hopefully we can go in there and sneak one on the road.
All right, and Horace, you started out, Charles Oakley, as you told me a couple of nights ago, Charles just kicked your butt the first couple of games, but you've come back.
Well, I have a lot of pride, and when someone kicks my butt twice, it's going to be very hard for them to do it a third or fourth time. So I came out very aggressive, and I got the best of them in the last 2 ball games.
A different attitude going back to New York this time than when you went in the first time?
Now we're going in there with confidence, and we're going to get one. I guarantee it.
All right, good luck, you guys. Fine game today. All right, Marv, back to you.
So Horace Grant with 14 points and 6 rebounds. B.J. Armstrong had 12 points. Michael Jordan with 54 of the Bulls' 105 points. He accounted for 51% of the offense. Final score again, the Chicago Bulls 105 and the New York Knicks 95. Tonight on NBC, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and Blossom. And then on the Monday night at the movies, it's Don't Touch My Daughter. Bob Costas coming up in just a moment. For Mike Fratello, Ahmad Rashad, and Hannah Storm, I'm Marv Albert. This has been a presentation of the NBA on NBC.
Across the Pacific, they're playing our song. Come fly the airline that's uniting the world. Come fly the friendly skies.
What would you do if someone touched your daughter?
You have to arrest him.
What would you do if the law was no help?
Who is this?
You can't watch her every minute.
Can you protect us or not?
We'll be back on the streets.
I'm gonna walk out
tomorrow morning.
And I'm gonna walk away. What would you do?
Don't go near my daughter.
But I will. Victoria Principal, Don't Touch My Daughter, NBC tonight.
That didn't even stop Manson playing.
No, they can face the much less.
That shit could be on ESPN too.
I gotta tell you, the same vein, even best.
I'll take my chance.
Oh, she's gonna forget it. I run the pedal all the way around. Average speed is probably down.
One.
Right. Yeah, man, average speed. Yeah, there were something like 6 or 7 less flags last year.
Jackson. Phil Jackson's coming. Phil Jackson's coming right now.
Horace Grant and Scottie Pippen from the Bulls, and Patrick Ewing from the Knicks, along with the 2 coaches. Find out when they open up the locker room. I don't think he's. We'll find out when he opens it up.
No, don't take that with you. Okay. Well, that was a dogfight, and we came out on top of that one. They kept coming back all the way through that second half as we lost momentum. Their defense grew stronger. Michael Jordan had an outrageous day, and he bailed us out with a number of great shots in rhythm, finding a way to keep us up that 10 points, 11 points when we'd slide back to 8. They made a good run at the end. I thought we sustained the effort and, had a couple good boards, a couple good defensive stops out there. And as we asked, get to 100 first. That wins.
So was it a law of averages before Michael started hitting the jumper consistently in this series?
Well, I don't know if you call it the law of averages. I don't believe in that law, but sooner or later, I guess, is what you have to say, that you're not going to see a guy of his caliber have a game like he had on Saturday. We asked him in the process of this series that probably a game of 10 assists is going to be just as valuable as a game of 40 points. Well, I can't say that the same about 50. That was a little better.
Phil, it looks like you were forcing this to try to play your passing lane.
Say that a little bit louder. I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Looks like you forced New York to play the passing lanes today because they collapsed so deep in the hole. And you made them really come out and play high and that really can open things up in the second half.
Yes, they came out with the type of defense that they played against us in Madison Square Garden last Sunday and Tuesday. Got our wings up high on the floor. We're stripping the ball, making it very difficult for our offense to survive out there. And it's very difficult from our end of the floor, where our coaching bench is, to visualize exactly what happened. But we had releases and we had some automatics that we asked these ball players to execute. They got a few of them done. And it told in the final result. And when Michael had to go to the bench with about 7 minutes to go in the ball game, that's key. 3 minute stand there, I thought, was the most critical point of the ball game for us to stay strong, have ability to withstand any kind of surge that they might have at that time, and be solid until he got back on the floor again.
Phil, after the last game, it seemed like Michael was being congratulated for moving the ball so well. What happened from that game?
They closed down on the shooters. They recovered quickly. I think some of our shooters didn't find the ball in rhythm, and they also weren't hitting quite as well as they were the other night. And of course, when he gets hot like that, it doesn't matter what happens. Basically, it's it's a show of his own. He's in a different space than anybody else.
Phil, how satisfied were you with players other than Michael taking the ball to the hole?
Well, I thought somewhere in the middle of the second quarter they started closing the lanes very well. We had to talk about that at halftime. We got a charge or two. We got some turnover situations that I thought was uncharacteristic of our ball club. And then in the final part of the game, third and fourth quarter, I thought we did a much better job handling it. A little erratic start in the third quarter. But I thought we came strong at the end.
Phil, since Michael doesn't want to speak, is he, obviously he's focused on the court, is he channeling some energy and some anger against the media?
You'll have to ask him that.
Well, he's
concern on you about the fact that Horace Grant, he's scoring pretty well, but his rebounds still are not up to par.
We told Horace, just take care of Oakley. We don't care about the numbers. You've got to neutralize Oakley. Oakley's making a charge at the hoop every time. You've got to sacrifice your body on his. And if you don't get any boards, so be it. We'll have to clean him up somewhere else. And he's tried to do that. And more power to him. He's taken a yeoman's load out there to try and just box him out.
Can you talk about Game 5, Phil, and how you changed the jinx of the Garden?
Jinx at the Garden. Well, we won last year in Game 3, and we were very confident about going back there and winning in the Garden and on their court. And we've had great success there over the past few years. This year, not so. But last year we played well there, even in the playoffs. I think we played them very well on their home floor. Not well enough to win, obviously, but we're playing a pretty good ball game. We just need a little more control in those momentum surges they've had in the third quarter. We need to hold them off at that point. We'll be fine.
Bill, do you have any concerns still with the Scotty's erratic play?
Rhythm and out of rhythm. Well, I'm sure that they must have focused on taking him out of rhythm in the last, after last Saturday's game. He was 10 for 12 from the field, had one of those games that, elevates a player from just common to superstar. Today he was met, checked, his progress stopped, and he was taken out of rhythm of his shot all the time. And I think he just couldn't find it again, but he came up and he stepped up big at the end of the game, which is always his pattern, to find a way to help us out some way or other.
Two more questions, guys.
Sunday starts being a larger factor in New York?
Of course. He's a great factor today, though, in the first half. I thought he came out on fire and carried them, and he and Ewing carried them that first half very well, at least till the middle of the second period. They played long minutes today, those two. They have to survive a one-day break, and we'll see what it means.
Phil, Scotty made a three-point play after they closed to 4
Yes.
points, I believe. Can you talk about that play for a second?
Well, it was a bailout play because he's